The Cheeseboy628 Show, starring Cheeseboy628.
Hey YouTube, what's going on? This is Cheeseboy628 here today, giving you an OU tier Wi-Fi battle. And before I get into this team preview here, I've got a couple of announcements. Number one, I recently just got Pokemon Y, which I'm super excited about. So within a couple of weeks, I'm going to be able to play through it, get my team ready, and you're going to start seeing some 6th Gen Wi-Fi battles on this channel. Number two, you may have noticed that Google Plus and YouTube are starting to combine now, and that's making the YouTube layout very confusing at the moment. So I'm having trouble communicating with people through YouTube. So I have a small favor to ask of you guys as my buddies, and that would be to tell any of your buddies that are interested in competitive Pokemon, even just Let's Plays, anything Pokemon in general, to come and check out my channel. If they're interested, just leave a subscription, because I'm currently coming up with the most epic 1000 subscriber special ever, and I mean, it's going to be the coolest video that has been on this channel thus far. So hopefully that's some motivation for you guys to start spreading my channel around, and I'd really appreciate it, as you guys are my buddies and I definitely appreciate anything you do for me. Now enough of this chit chat, let's get right into the team preview here. Basically my team in the top right is the combination of Lando T setting up rocks, Skarmory setting up spikes, and my Fortress spinning, while my Jellicent spin blocks, and then I have Kieran B to shuffle things around with Dragon Tail. And finally I have Scarflatios just to be a revenge killer. Now looking at my opponent's team, it honestly just looks like a bunch of pokes that are mashed up, because he just has Umbreon as his only part of his defensive core, I believe. And then the rest of his team is very offensive, so my team being very defensive, I have counters to, I believe, everything on his team. So let's see how this battle goes. So I'm going to start out with my Latios just to see if I can do some damage to anything, and it turns out he starts with Umbreon of all things. So I'm thinking, okay, I have no purpose to stay in here. I'm just going to go right into Lando T, as I can check that Umbreon relatively well and I can get up my rocks relatively easily. So now he goes for the yawn, and I'm going to go for the U-turn, which is a tad risky in the case that he did have the protect, but doesn't seem like he does. And the U-turn is a lot of damage, so that's definitely telling me that Umbreon is especially defensive. So he actually goes for the mean look here of all things. Thankfully I do have Skarmory in where I can just whirlwind this poke out, but I can just go for the spikes right now if I do feel like it. And he's going to go for the yawn, but I'm just going to go for the whirlwind and just get that Umbreon out of there, which is very nice, because now I can just get out of here very safely, and this Cloyster can set up if it really feels like it, but I have some counters. So he goes for the Shell Smash, and definitely going to do a ton of damage if I didn't have every counter in the world to this guy. So I do have Fortress in right now, and I believe I do carry the Gyro Ball on this Fortress. Now the Cloyster does carry the White Herb, so it's probably a tad bulkier than I'd expect. And he goes for the Razor Shell, doesn't even do half, and I'm doing fine. So I go for the Gyro Ball, and it's almost a clean to a KO, but nope, it's going to take about 3. And depending on how well I can live these Razor Shells, maybe I can take another one, but I do get the defense drop, unfortunately. So I'm going to go for the Gyro Ball one more time, and then I'm probably going to have to switch out here, because otherwise I'm going to lose my spinner, although his only Stealth Rocker is probably Metagross, and rocks aren't really that huge to my team. So I'm going to predict the Razor Shell and just go right into my Jellicent here, and he's going to go for the Rock Blast, and I'm hoping that my Jellicent can take a hit. And I get crit on the second one, and because of that, it's going to be very close. Can I live? I live with 18 HP, that loyalty. Jellicent's going to take out that Cloyster, thankfully, and it's going to go down, and that Sweeper is finally out of here. Now Jellicent's basically death fodder now because of how low of HP it's at, but it definitely did some work taking those Rock Blasts, plus one of them being a crit. Now, the Metagross goes for the Meteor Mash, trying to get that attack boost. Unfortunately for him, does not get it, but my Jellicent does go down. Now I'm thinking, this Metagross probably can't do anything to me, so I'm totally fine coming in here with my Skarmory, getting up as many spikes as possible. He actually carries the Ice Punch, but that's not going to do too much because I'm freaking Skarmory, for crying out loud. So I'm able to get up as many spikes as I desire. He does not have a spinner, and Defog is not a thing in this gen. So he's actually going to bring in Crobat, and maybe if it's a special variant it can do something, but right now I'm thinking, oh, it's just physical, it's not going to do anything. Turns out he does carry the Taunt, so my Skarmory is basically going to be useless. I do carry the Brave Bird, but it's not going to do too much, and who knows if that Crobat probably carries Roost. Seeing as it does have Taunt, it's probably more defensive, and as you can tell by the Super Fang, it probably is. Now I'm at half health, and then I'm going for the Brave Bird, so there's a lot of recoil, and since I'm taunted, I can't roost, and I'm just not in a favorable position at the moment. So he's actually going to switch out to Umbreon of all things. And I don't really think Umbreon can do anything in here unless it tries to do that mean look yawn shenanigans again. But I'm just going to go to the Brave Bird, do as much damage as possible. Of course that Umbreon probably carries Wish and some kind of support, although it's mean look yawn, so I'm not entirely sure. But my taunt does wear off here. I can get up my final layer of spikes, which is just great because now I'm able to start phasing out pokes with Kyurem B. But he goes for the yawn first, and I'm thinking, okay, he didn't go for the mean look, so I'm totally fine with just switching out for free. And I could probably try getting the Kyurem B, but it is a tad risky in the case that he does go for the yawn. So I'm just going to go into Lando T in case he tries to yawn once again, because then I can just go for the U-turn. He actually goes for the mean look, and since I do have U-turn on my Lando T, I'm totally fine with going for that. And then I'll get off some really nice damage, and unless he goes for the Wish, he's probably going to die from the next hit, because now he's at maybe 10% health. So I'm going to go right on my Skarmory. Once again, I'm thinking a Brave Bird from this range can take him out, plus I can just have fodder in case he tries to go for the mean look once again, and I can just Whirlwind. But it turns out he does go for the yawn, and now I'm pretty much just free to switch out, go to the Lando T, and really I can just go for the U-turn, and one way I kill the Umbreon with the U-turn, the other way I get switch initiative, so it's definitely in my favor right now. He actually goes for the yawn, so unless he has protect, I'm in a great position at the moment, so I'm just going to go for the U-turn, hope he doesn't carry it. Thankfully he doesn't, and that Umbreon is going to go down, and now nothing can be yawned, nothing can be mean looked, and I'm in a great position because all of my hazards are up. This is going great, which is why I bring in Latios, because I am Scarfed. I'm just going to do a ton to something. Turns out he brings in Crobat in the case that I'm not Scarfed, but I am. Take him out easily with this Side Shock, and he is going to go down. So now he brings in his Gorbis, and I'm kind of scared because I do not want this thing Shell Smashing, so I'm going to go for the Side Shock right away. And I'm thinking after a Shell Smash I might be able to outspeed too. I'm not entirely sure, but it might as well stay in because I don't want this thing potentially swooping my entire team. So after all the shenanigans of his stats going crazy, and then he gets the Wider to get him back to full status, which really doesn't matter since it's in lowish yellow health, I'm actually able to outspeed, thankfully, because I am timid, and I'm able to take him out with that Psy Shock. Now, he does bring in his Metagross, and he pretty much realizes that I'm Scarf now, locked into Psy Shock, and he knows that I'm probably thinking, since he quad resists, I should probably switch out. But he does carry the balloon, so that's all I really want to do is break the balloon. Turns out he overpredicts, and he brings in the Breloom, which easily dies to the Psy Shock, and all he has left is that Metagross on a balloon, and he realizes here that it's pretty much futile to try keep going, so he does forfeit, and that'll be a GG. So, I hope you all enjoyed, and I hope you guys as my buddies will tell your buddies about my channel, as I will certainly appreciate it so very much. And if you're also willing, please tell me how it is best for me to get myself out into the public, because I definitely like to appeal to the biggest audience possible, as I want to create a community of buddies on this channel. So, thank you all for watching, like, comment, sub, and until later, peace.